time has come once again to discuss things.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Geeky Gentlemen. I am Sid Part 2. Joining me today is Rasco of Rasco's Modern Life. Say hello to the people, Rasco.
What up?
Ouch.
Sorry.
All of our ears collectively. Anyway, before we get started on this episode of Fan Film Reviews, I want you, the listener, to know that you can download episodes of Geeky Gentlemen and listen on the go. There's a link in the description. Download this episode. You can download old episodes by request. Where can they find old episodes, Rasco?
The Geeky Gentleman playlist.
Indeed they can. They can find the Geeky Gentleman playlist by either searching for it or checking around on my channel. And all you have to do is leave a comment on an old episode and I'll upload it for you. No problem whatsoever. Seriously, no one does it. And it'd be so easy. There are like 300-something episodes of Geeky Gentlemen. Y'all should get on that. In any case, Rasco, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about a fan film called Aliens Epilogue.
Oh god, are you back to Kruger the Legend of Elm Street now?
I just broke into this accent for no reason.
Indeed. Well, I mean, everyone's British, but that's like a very Scottish/Irish accent.
Yeah.
So, I'm offended by your lumping of those cultures together.
I'm just channeling my heritage, bro.
Yeah. Okay, anyway. So, you just kind of picked this because you are obsessed with Alien. I think you might have, like, some repressed memories related to some kind of sexual misconduct with how obsessed you are with Alien. That's my current theory on your life, Rasco.
Oh, this movie. Or, well, the Alien franchise. It gets me going.
Mm-hmm. I would not be surprised. So, you're the big Alien fan. What do you think of it?
Well, this was kind of interesting because while it's not, like, steeped in as much continuity as that Dalek fan film we watched was, this does a thing that does where it kind of tries to explain away a problem people have with Alien 3.
Would that be the egg?
Yes.
In the ship in Alien 3?
Yes.
See, okay, and here, I figured that's what they were going for when they talked about they put the eggs in the Sulaco.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my thing. You don't need that. It would make perfect sense if the Queen laid an egg before it went out to attack Bishop. That's all you needed.
But the Queen's never in that room, though.
I mean, the egg's in the wrong place, I'll give you that. But the Queen is on the ship, the landing ship, right?
The Queen is in the landing, platform legs that come out of the...
Yeah, so why couldn't she lay an egg in there?
She could lay an egg in there, but it doesn't show that. It shows the egg in the room with the little sleeping chambers. And... that's the problem. They didn't need to make an issue there. It's just laziness on their behalf and putting that egg in that location. Just put it in the shuttle and you're good.
All you would need is the facehugger to crawl around the ship, but regardless of that, I prefer that little headcanon because that's what I'd always assumed anyway, over the explanation they gave here. How about you?
Yeah.
Like, what was your headcanon for it, I guess?
It's weird because this, I don't know... I'm trying to think about when Aliens Colonial Marines came out, because that video game has a DLC that also tries to explain away this plot hole.
Oh, good.
And it does an equally... Well, I don't want to say... Okay. I take issue with how they explain it in this, because it doesn't give a good enough reason. Mm-hmm. It's like, we wanted to test the xenomorph in a really enclosed environment. What?
Yeah, that's strange.
Why did you need Carter Burke to go down to LV-426 to get an alien specimen if you already had one that you were going to test out on the survivors of that mission?
Yeah, and if you just want healthy specimens, why wouldn't you let LV-426 just be your alien farm? The things obviously aren't capable of spaceflight.
Yet!
No, I mean, seriously, why would you ever send anybody?
Well, I think the idea is that you need someone to bring back up okay, so is this a question about the film Aliens, or is this a question about this fan film? Because I'm kind of confused.
The fan film's explanation. Why would you, in their explanation of the events of Aliens, because this is technically an epilogue, in their explanation of that, the ship, the Sulaco, Ripley, all that shit, Bishop, was sent out as a test. And I don't understand that, because why would you do that then? It makes more sense if they honestly didn't believe there was a colony of aliens yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like they clearly do in the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
It's weird because it's like Wayland. Okay, so like Wayland Corp knows that the space jockey ship is on that planet, and they've tried to send people there before. That is what the first Alien film is. It doesn't work. So then a colony is created there. People stumble across the space jockey ship. We don't know if those people. We don't know if Wayland set up that colony there with that in mind, or if that was just like an accident. But we do know.
I think it would have to be an accident, because did the ship... No, because from what we know in the film, in Aliens, none of the reports of what happened with the Nostromo?
Yes.
Yeah, none of the reports of what happened with the Nostromo ever got back to Earth. Correct? Like, besides Ripley's account.
Yeah, it's just
of
Ripley's
events.
account, yeah.
Yeah, so they clearly wouldn't have set up the colony in the hopes of growing an alien colony.
Well, okay, so here's the thing. Like, there's Wayland Corp. They know more than the military does. Mm-hmm. And the military has kind of, like, privatized their... Wayland Corp provides everything for everyone, pretty much.
Yeah, until they get bought up by Walmart.
Yeah, bought out by Walmart. Stupid as shit. But... So Wayland, that company does know that the space jockey ship is on that planet, because they send the Nostromo to land on that planet in the first film.
Okay, it was yeah, that's right, because of Ace, right?
Yeah, and it's a conspiracy theory. So then, in Aliens, they send them down to that planet. Now the colony lost contact, and then it turns out later that Burke sent those people to search that area of LP-426 to find the alien.
Uh-huh.
They didn't know what they were looking for, but Burke told them there's likely a ship there. Go find it, and they found the ship. And then when they go down to the planet, Burke promises Ripley, like, if they're there, we're there to get rid of them, not to bring one back.
And then he tries to bring one back. You're right.
He tries to bring one back. But the thing is, like, at first, because they have, like, facehuggers and containers there, but then Ripley's like, we're not going to be able to bring those back, and when we take off, we're going to nuke this entire planet from orbit. So then Burke tries to sabotage them and get Ripley impregnated with one of the aliens, so then they can bring...
Yeah, you're right. Okay, I forgot about all that shit. Mm-hmm. And this is just, like, I guess my problem with Alien in general. It's just not my franchise, and I watched this twice. I almost fell asleep both times. And it's nothing against the way this is made. I do want to get talking about the actual fan film itself.
Yeah, I do as well.
It's nothing about the way this is made. It's just, I'm so fucking bored by Alien. It just does not interest me whatsoever.
Hater! I'm just kidding.
I mean, you're not wrong, though. Okay, so the fan film itself, though. I'm going to go through a couple quick thoughts. So the plot, I think, is about as contrived as I would expect a plot in Alien to be. The acting, while not great, is certainly not the worst thing we've ever seen in a fan film. And I think the CG is remarkably well done, just kind of poorly integrated. And then my other thing that I am very, very impressed by is their damn locations. Mm-hmm. Jesus, these are some kick-ass look. I think I could say this, and I'm trying to think back on other fan films we reviewed, but nothing's coming to mind. I think these are the best locations we've ever seen in a fan film we've reviewed.
Yeah.
As far as fitting the setting of what they're shooting.
I agree. That was my big thing with this that really kind of hooked me. So when I was looking through Alien fan films and I saw this one, and I clicked on it for a second, and when I saw, like, just the tunnel, like, I saw a tunnel, I was like, oh, wow, like, did they build that? I don't know. And then I clicked through a little bit more, and I was like, oh, these are, like, real locations, and that's cool. And it's really strange, because I feel like this is an example where they just were like, we're gonna fucking go for it. Fuck writing around limitations. We're going for it. And I always say not to do that, but in this, like, it
paid off reasonably well.
Yeah, they actually kind of succeeded in just going for it and not like, okay, we can't really do this. They just were like, no, we're gonna do this.
Yeah, and like, I'm trying to think of examples where, like, the scripting is let me rephrase that. The dialogue is reasonably good, but kind of poorly delivered. There's
sometimes over-expository.
Maybe, but like, there are lines where I just don't think the actors quite delivered it right, and of course nothing's coming to mind for me right this second, but I know I heard some where I was like, I know how that was supposed to be delivered, and it just wasn't. So that's a little unfortunate from the acting side of things, but I guess the tactic that I take with judging acting in a fan film, unless they are clearly like professional actors, is I think to myself, okay, if I were somehow involved with this and these were my friends, would I still consider it a bad performance on their part? That's kind of the approach I take to acting, because that's usually what it is. It's the people that you can get, it's your friends. So that being said, I don't think the acting's like atrocious or anything like that, but it's definitely not great. I think besides the contrivance of the plot, which again is kind of a given with Alien at this point, so I'm not going to hold that against them too much. I just think the acting's probably the worst thing about this, but that's not a big detractor for me.
It's funny because you're right. Some of the acting is very, but there were some little, like, sparks of, like, whoa, hold on a second. What is this person doing? This is not terrible, and it should be. My go-to is he the sergeant? I don't know. I'm confused as to what his role was, but he's the guy giving everybody orders in this.
Yeah.
That guy gave some pretty good line delivery, I think, when the girl who's screaming, who comes out of the locker, who I also thought did a much...
she was pretty good.
Yeah, she did. I was like, oh, here we go, a crying person. It's going to be like... But it was, no, she was, like, really kind of freaked out, and I was like, oh, wow, I actually buy that.
Yeah.
And I loved his line where she runs off, and he's like, you got a grip like a girl?
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
It's realistic soldier banter, which is why I think the dialogue's actually written reasonably well.
Yeah.
Between the, like, two Weyland-Yutani guys, not so much.
That's what I was talking about when it's too expository. It's just them explaining things in a really unnatural way.
Yeah, but, like, even then, I think the plotting's, besides the major contrivance, I thought the plotting of we're holding the specimens right under the Colonial Marines' noses. So when you get, like, the containment breach and that vault door opens up, in, like, every other Alien movie, when that shit happens, they walk in and they're fucking morons for doing it. Like, why wouldn't you just close the fucking door, right?
Yeah.
But in this, it actually made sense because the soldiers don't know what they're guarding.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And once again, that fucking vault just looks so epic.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And not only did they get good locations, but they took the time to do a lot of set dressing, and, like, they have the Weyland-Yutani logo just around on different things. It's perfect.
Yeah, I also love that they had great Colonial Marines outfits. Like, they were...
Yeah, those were pretty good. Those were, like, good cosplayer.
Yeah, they were really legit. the person with the smart gun, which is like the big kind of like Vulcan type gun that people have. The smart guns all looked good. Something that really, this is hilarious. I just realized this. Like while watching this fan film, and I don't know how I've never realized this before. The smart gun, like the thing, like so it has like an arm that like connects to the person who has it to like because it's really heavy, I guess. And it's funny because I just realized that it's pretty much just a Steadicam rig with a gun on it. Like it's literally the exact same like technology behind it, and it's just a gun.
That's James Cameron for you.
That's just so cool. Like that's so. This fan film made me realize that, and I've seen that 100,000 times. For some reason, I made the connection while watching this fan film.
That's hilarious. No, I mean the costume design's pretty decent. I will get on one thing that I feel is out of place, and that is the scientists have really wacky hairdos. I agree. There's like the one girl with the purple hair, the one dude with dreadlocks, the other dude has cornrows.
You're right, and I love it. You're totally right.
I thought that was like odd casting. I thought those, I don't know if they would make more sense as Colonial Marines or not, but that one I was like, come on guys, just wear a wig or something.
A Colonial Marine with dreadlocks, that would be badass. That would be so cool.
Yeah, I can see it.
I agree. Something that kind of bugged me, and it was kind of like a in-universe cutesy wink-wink reference that doesn't make sense. So in this is the United Kingdom Colonial Marines.
Sure.
Whereas in Alien, it's the United States Colonial Marines. They're like, oh, that, I forget what item, it's some item. They're like, oh, this belongs to Hudson, but he's off on a mission right now.
Oh yeah, it's his armor.
Yeah. Why would you have Hudson's armor? You're the United Kingdom Marine Corps.
I guess just because they're on the same space station from Aliens,
yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's the best I can do. What it probably is, and I haven't seen Aliens 7 billion times like you, is the guy wearing, like, the commander, does his armor have, like, similar stickers or drawings or something on it that Hudson's does?
No, I don't, the person that has the most customized armor in Aliens is Hicks. Mm-hmm. He's got like a heart over his real heart, which is really stupid, but that's kind of funny. Like, I don't care if I point to where my heart is on my body, but he has that. I didn't pay attention, so I can't really tell.
I'm just like, I noticed that he's got like a skull and crossbones with like a knife in it, and he's got like Born something written on his helmet.
Is it okay?
Well, he's just got like a lot of stuff written on it. So what I made that reference to cosplayer style things. What I'd be willing to bet is the outfit he had was for that character, was for a Hudson cosplay, and so they just like kind of went with it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we'll just use this, and to explain the fact that it's got all of his stuff on it, we'll reference that he's on a mission.
Okay, yeah. I did like I'm gonna keep calling him the sergeant. I don't know, but the lead Marine. I did like how he had like an 8-ball on the back of his helmet. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to think if that's someone's armor in Aliens. I don't think it is.
Like that note, one guy had like eyes on the back of his helmet. That was kind of cute. Just stuff like that. It's nice, fun stuff that, a lot of soldiers do shit like that if they're allowed to get away with it. So it's cute.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to talk about the CG, so forgive me.
Go ahead.
I'm reasonably impressed with it. It's really well integrated as far as movement and even to a degree weight. Like there's that scene where the ship gets dropped out of the hangar and like it has that big crane arm that comes down. Mm-hmm. That comes down and like it doesn't just straight go down and then stop. It goes down, stops, and then has a little jiggle at the bottom of its drop to deal with the weight. When it drops the ship moves through the atmosphere really well. You see it even cutting clouds a bit. There's a really, really good shot of the compound that all of this takes place on, mm-hmm. and it's a really well-integrated CG satellite put on the top of it that is consistently placed with a camera movement, which is really hard on a shoestring budget kind of fan film thing. The problem with the CG is it's too clean in comparison to everything else around it, in comparison to its plates, to use the technical term. And so it just looks superimposed because of that. A good way to fix that for people making fan films that listen to this, which no one does, a good way to fix that is to dirty up your CG in post. Get a crisp a shot as you can, and then dirty up, and then put your CG over it, and then dirty up your CG with like static and film effects over your film. And so your film will look a little crummy underneath it and stuff, and it works better. It just makes it look more naturally involved. That's a really simple way. Another way is to just make sure that what you model, what you texture doesn't look too clean in and of itself. Star Wars prequels get a lot of guff for this because everything was so new and perfect and clean, like the Naboo ships are just this meteor-like texture and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. That's just bad texturing, and it makes it look less real. So, stuff like that. But otherwise, I was reasonably impressed with the ways in which they handled things, particularly that shot of the Marines climbing onto the ship through that little ladder thing. I thought that was cool.
Yeah, I agree. I was just really surprised at all of the just like straight up balls out, like we're just going to do this and we're going to do it as the best we can, and we're not going to like work around it. Like I said earlier on in this video, like I normally say write around it, but if you're not going to write around it, this works because it's not like the CG is like drastically lower in quality compared to like the camera quality. Mm-hmm. And that's not a dig because it's a fan film, and that's why I think so charming about it is that like they are obviously working with a lot of budgetary restraints, but they just are like, fuck you, we're going to do this, and I love that.
Okay, I will say, you know, we're praising all the costuming and the a lot of the effects work. I hate to say it, but I think the worst effects, or the worst costuming, the worst effects are the xenomorphs.
It's fair. I thought that they were going to look much worse, and I was surprised that they looked much better. The thing is, they could have just shot them better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Because the first thing with the xenomorph, where that guy's in the dark and he like gets spooked by the person behind him, he turns around and shoots him, and then he turns around and like the xenomorph drags him off. That looks fine because they're shooting it in a way where you don't get to really look at the xenomorph that much, besides its like silhouette. And it works when they do that, but when they get it and they show you the xenomorph a little bit too well lit and in the center of the frame, and they're not really doing anything.
So what you're saying is that they should take more notes from AVPR.
I'll never say that again, but yes. This film could maybe learn from AVPR. I never thought I would say that in my life, but you're right.
You know, this would be a better movie if it was more like AVPR.
Put that quote in the thumbnail. Please put that like my Frasco. It'd be better if it took notes from AVPR. My credibility will never exist again after that.
No, I mean, but like that's obviously an overcorrection, but I agree. Particularly with like the teeth of the xenomorph, we get that. It's a cool shot of the xenomorph like in the ceiling, or not really in the ceiling, but like over that door frame, kind of up above everything, like looking down. Mm-hmm. Like that first shot of it's really good, and then they do, you know, reaction shot of the soldier on the ground looking for the thing, and then they do the shot of the thing again. It's too close, and you see the teeth too well and tell it's part of a mask.
You just don't need that shot.
Yeah, I'd agree. And then there's like the shot where the two soldiers, the one with the steady gun, get killed by two xenomorphs, and like it's when it's coming up behind him, it's just okay, and then when it's right next to him, and they do like the stab it, they do this scene where they stab it, it's just, you can tell it's a costume. Mm-hmm. it looks rubbery. It doesn't look like skin. Like, the way to fix that is to do what they did in Aliens and just get it wet. It just looks so much creepier when the rubber was all wet and shit, right?
Yeah, they used, like, KY jelly.
Oh my god, that makes it even worse.
Yeah, KY jelly.
I didn't even know that.
The suit is literally made out of, the parts of the suit are made out of condoms.
Really?
Yeah, like they use condoms, trash bags, KY jelly, and all of that to make the xenomorph. It's hilarious.
It's like, that's a meta commentary in costuming.
It's awesome.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, seriously, the fact that they were always, like, dripping wet and, you know, just, obviously, it's H.R. Geiger, it's all sex, drugs, and rock and roll, and rape imagery, rape imagery. So, the sweaty, nasty, like, lustful look of the things, really did add to it, and it's just, when the Colonial Marine stabs the thing, it just looks like a guy, you know, stabbing a Halloween costume. Mm-hmm. And just doing a subtle touch like that, following the example of the movie, would have really worked. Just the fact that if it were, like, wet with KY jelly or something like that, it would look like it was darker in places just because of how, you know, wet things work. It would just look more like skin at that point.
Yeah.
Then the shot lingers on it a little too long, and you see the thing fold in a weird way. So it's unfortunate. If you're going to do a stab shot, don't do it with the actor in the costume. Do it with the costume pulled taut. That's a better way to do that, because then it'll react more like skin. Because your skin, while it does fold, it doesn't, like, crease, you know? Mm-hmm. So that's just, you know, like, everyone talks up practical effects over digital. That's not always the case. If you're going to do it, there are still standards you have to follow. Doing practical effects doesn't automatically make it better. So yeah, I'm glad you agree with me that the aliens don't look great. I will say, I think the one shot that is just, like, it could have been so cool, I just thought it was very poorly done, and it makes me think of a shot from the Joker blogs. So in the Joker blogs, there's this scene where they're in a church, and the Joker interrupts a wedding, and, like, right in the middle as the tension is completely rising, all the lights go out. And the Batman, you know, that mm-hmm. Hans Zimmer Batman theme starts to play. And it's all shot, you know, POV, found footage style. And you see the cameraman, like, wipe by some of these arches as you see, you know, Batman, like, quickly run by. And as I described that, it sounds cool, but the way they shot it, where they actually had the actor run, just didn't look good. It looked kind of goofy, right? And so the way you do that is to make sure he's only on screen for a couple frames as opposed to, like, a full second. And then this has a very similar thing to that, where the guy turns around and sees the alien and he yells for help, and you see his comrade on the other side of that window or whatever, like he's going to get ready to go help him, but then another xenomorph comes and grabs him. And just the way that xenomorph, like, runs at him, the actor in the suit's too slow, he just kind of, like, hugs him. It doesn't really look like if it were in the actual movies, the xenomorph would pounce on him. He wouldn't run and hug him, but just there are other ways to do that. And so it lingers too long. It doesn't look quite as good as it initially could. And so it just creates it's a neat idea for a shot in conception, but when you actually see it, I don't think it works as well. Mm-hmm. Your thoughts on that shot?
It was alright.
I love when I come up with, like, this whole thesis statement on what could have made something work or what didn't work about something. I go into all this detail, and I go to you for, like, further input or a dissenting opinion, and you're just like, yeah, or nah.
Or true dat. How about that? True dat. That's a good one.
So you did think it looked good? You didn't have any problem with that shot, though?
I don't really have anything else to say. I pretty much agree with everything you have to say when it comes to that.
Yeah, okay. No, I mean, I enjoyed this, like, for what it was. It's just, this isn't my thing. I don't like Alien, like, at all.
You're a xenophobe, bro.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
What's wrong with you?
You know, that's what Alien fans should call themselves, xenophobes. That'd just be cool.
That would be cool. That's awesome.
It's like Trekkies have Trekkers, because they don't like Trekkies.
Yeah.
Doctor Who fans have Whovians, you know. Xenomorph, or Alien fans should call themselves xenophobes. That'd be so fucking perfect.
That's actually perfect. Ian just created the new Alien fandom name to rally behind.
Well, the funny thing is, you're gonna be like telling people, yeah, I'm a xenophobe, and they're gonna be like, what, you're afraid of foreigners? No, I like Alien.
Yeah.
Who the fuck says that? Okay, you got anything else you wanted to talk about with this one?
Okay, I'm sure I'm going to think of something. We talked about some of the performances that we did like. Okay, here's something I'm confused about. Shows him looking at a screen, and it's a transmission from Fury 161, just the planet Ripley's trapped on in Alien 3. I don't know how he's getting a feed of the weird ultrasound they do on Ripley to see the alien queen inside of her chest. I don't know how he's seeing that.
Isn't that, like, years after the fact of Sulaco, though?
I don't think so. I think it's weird because they go into their sleeping pods, then an alien hatches from the egg, or a facehugger hatches from the egg, triggers, like, some sort of, like, motion sensor, and, like, a fire happens. I don't know how a fire gets created. That sends them out into space. I don't think that much time passed, but I could be wrong.
Really?
I still think the timetable is a little bit off here, though, because I think they were probably in because, like, they're talking about what's going on in Aliens as if it is, like, happening that week. Because they're like, oh, Hudson.
Yeah, especially when you hear him say stuff like, oh, Hudson's out on a mission.
Yeah, Hudson's on a mission. And then at the same time, at the end of it, over the course of, like, a couple hours, I'm assuming, they're watching Ripley on Fury 161, and she spends multiple days, if not months, on that planet. So
it's probably days, because if she's impregnated with a xenomorph, it can't be more than a day. Or
it's a queen, so you can be like, oh, it's a little bit iffy on the timetable. I don't know. It's kind of off. I don't know.
Yeah. Question for you as a xenophobe.
Yeah.
Can queens only be gestated in women, or does that not matter, or has it not been established?
I don't think it matters. It's definitely never been established that way.
Yeah, I think it just should be. That's just my little input as someone who is not a fan. I just think that's a cooler detail if it is.
That could be pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. One thing that's kind of cool to note is that, and I think it's Alien 3 that establishes this, because if you pause in the opening, the facehugger isn't a normal facehugger. It's actually a queen facehugger. There's only one type of facehugger that can create an alien queen, and that's the queen facehugger.
See, I've heard from the fandom that, like, if it's alone, if a colony of xenomorphs are alone without a queen, yes, one of them can molt and become one.
That is true as well.
Okay.
That's also true. Yeah, like you can have, so like you have different kinds of xenos that, and this is all like, this was all after the fact, because we kind of had to justify why the aliens look different in Aliens, but we came up with a great reason. So a drone is what you see in Alien. That's the ones with the shiny heads that are smooth.
Oh.
A warrior or soldier, whatever you want to call it, is the one with like the rigid heads like in Aliens. And then what you can have is a Praetorian, which a Praetorian is the middle stage between being a queen and being just a normal Xeno. And like when the queen dies, a Praetorian becomes a queen. Typically, it's been changed a bunch, but that's what's happened in the past.
What's a Praetorian?
It kind of just looks like a bigger. It kind of looks like a smaller queen, kind of. Like it's like just imagine like what it would look like to be halfway evolved into a queen, and that's what a Praetorian looks like.
Oh, interesting. No, I like the thought process behind the fandom. It's all that whole side of it I do find interesting. I just get bored with the plot being the same fucking thing every time. I mean, it is. It's, oh, we're stuck on a spaceship with the monster. It's what it always fucking feels like, and I can't stand it. We're stuck in this space area with the alien. It's gonna rape and kill us.
You're just the xenophobe, bro.
No, you're the xenophobe.
I am, but you're a different kind of xenophobe.
Yeah. Okay, no, I'm just interesting to talk about. I like the way that the xenomorphs are presented here. They're just doing their thing. I like how they're just unquenchable little monsters. It's great. I don't really have anything else to say, so if you're done, we can go on to ratings.
Yeah, I think I'm good.
Okay, why don't you go first?
I will give this... Okay. I'm going to give this fan film, for its ingenuity, I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5. 8 balls on the soldier's helmet. That's what I'll do.
Okay, and that's fair. Oh, I did forget to mention one little thing that I did like as a reference to the first film. Mm-hmm. The lady that runs away out of the closet screaming, when they find her, she's like in a corner with a bunch of chains hanging. Mm-hmm. I just thought that was a neat little reference to the first movie, how the one chick dies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I will give this... You know, I would be tempted to agree with you with 3.5. I just don't like Aliens, so I'm going to be a little more harsh on it and just be a 3. I'm going to give it 3 out of 5. Kick-ass fucking locations. Jesus. They didn't even need to add CG, but they did it anyway. It was awesome. Okay. So... let's see here. What are we going to talk about next time? You know, I'm down between 2 options. One of them is brand spanking new, and so I'm really tempted to talk about it. The other is like 10 years old, and it'd be funny as hell to talk about. Oh. Okay, Rasco. What should we do? Should we do the 10-year-old one or the 1-month-old one?
I'm going to go with the 1-month-old one. I want to see what's going on in the now. Today.
Okay. Then we will be talking about Fanorama, a Futurama fan film.
Oh, whoop-de-doo!
Yeah, should be fun. Okay, everyone, thank you very much for watching. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
And I'm the Xenophobe!
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen. And we will be discussing things like Rasco's mini sign-offs.